Welcome back to the Gabe and Kenji show, everybody. We took a month off. Now we're back and we got video. Look at Kenji. Look at the Lars Newbar jersey. Got those big old ugly black headphones in the background. We're going to talk some NFL. We got the draft coming up in just a little over a week. We're going to have some fun today. Let's get right into it. All right, man. It feels good to be back. I know probably every viewer out there was waiting on the edge of their seat for this episode to come out. So we are so excited to be back. The draft is in a week. We got a bunch of league news to cover. Kenji, how are you?
I'm great, sort of. I'm home now. Been home for a couple of weeks. It's nice to be able to do this, not in a college dorm or a private room or whatever I was last time. And to be able to
100%.
have stuff in my back. I got that jersey yesterday night. My parents got it for me after the WBC.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I just got a couple of stuff right there. I got my two gloves, my baby girls up there.
Yeah.
Got my cool shoes from Japan, only in Japan. Got my first ever home run ball back there. Got some stuff. Got some Snoopy stuff there. So I feel very at home here.
You love to see
I'm excited to talk about football. Really excited for the draft, I gotta say.
Super stoked. It feels like it kind of all flew by. I mean, the last episode had some issues, so we had to take it down there that last week of March. But it's been about a month since we released one, and it's the draft is in a week. Next Thursday is the draft. We're recording this on Tuesday, the 18th. I'm not sure when you're all seeing this, but we're stoked. We're so excited. We got a lot to talk about, a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of stuff going on with these quarterbacks. But first, I think, should we go over some league news? We could talk about your haircut. Yeah. We could talk about, whatever you want to talk about.
Yes, I got a haircut like 2 weeks ago, and it was really bad.
He looks great, doesn't he, everybody? Mom, he looks great.
League news. All right, so
okay.
So a couple things have happened in the past couple of weeks. Probably the biggest one being OBJ going to the Ravens. We all know we won't go too much into news. We know news is a little boring for people. We want to get into the
everybody's
main part
sick of us.
Talk about the draft today. Yeah, everyone's bored of our nerdy stuff. But coming from an actual OBJ fan, tell me about it. It's 1 year, like 16, 18 million or 13 million.
It was 1 year, 18. I think 15 guaranteed. Okay. It's good for Odell. As a Giants fan, as a former, diehard Odell fan, I think it's good for him. Mm-hmm. I think that it's a gross overpay. I think it's a ridiculous overpay on behalf of the Ravens. 18 million for effectively a wide receiver 3 is kind of crazy to me.
Wide receiver 3, bold. Okay.
He's not a number 1. He's not. Maybe on the Ravens he's a number 1 because that was one of the worst receiving cores, but he's just not. He's not a number 1 anymore. He needs to be complimented. It seemed like way too much money for me to give away to a guy like that. I love Odell. I think he brings in a lot of media, brings in a lot of fans, sells jerseys, sells tickets. I just think it's a gross overpay. And he'll probably be injured by week 7. Let's be really honest about this. He's going to be kicking, or he's going to be punching and kicking net, or tear something else by week 7. You never know with this guy. So I love him, but you never know.
That's Gabe's take. Again, this is coming from a diehard OBJ fan. I personally love this signing. I think it's fantastic for the Ravens. I still think Odell's got it in him. I read that he played without an ACL for the Rams, and he found out like in the middle of the season, but he kept playing and it tore in the Super Bowl. And he was really good that year. Like he was really underrated. Like he was fantastic. Yeah. He looked crisp. So
I'm really he's 30 something
on the Ravens. I think he's 30.
I'm excited to see him. 30. He's like 31. He'll be 31 this season. That's just old, man. Jeez. That's old. To give 18 million to a receiver for a 31-year-old. which it makes me feel a little old
That
too because
money
I
was
remember when he came into
crazy.
the league. Yeah, I mean, 18 million for a 1 year deal for a 31-year-old is ridiculous money. But maybe
Yeah.
the Ravens, maybe that brings Lamar back to Baltimore and they win some games. Who knows? So, but we can move on to the next thing. Everybody's sick of the league news and sick of me talking to
Yeah.
Giants.
We could talk about Lamar news too, because there's more coming out. I think more came out today, but I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about it either.
Just
Skip right past it.
just get it
Nope.
done. Just get the deal done. All right.
Skip right past it. I don't give a
I don't really care
damn.
about Allen Robinson. Yes, we don't care. I don't really care
Yeah.
about the Allen Robinson trade. Good for the Steelers, I guess. He's kind of
He was
washed.
washed anyway. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, I think he's done. We got DHOP. So DHOP had an interesting interview on I think it was CBS. I can't remember his first name. A guy like McFadden was his last name, and he goes, "I want you to give me a physical reaction to these teams. Don't like voice your reaction, but give me like a physical sign." He names the Patriots, the Buffalo Bills, the Jets, and the Chiefs. And he says no to the Patriots and no to the Jets, but he looked really happy and like, hey, like a come get me face to the Chiefs and the Bills. So the internet's taking it as D-Hop wants to go to the Chiefs and Bills, which honestly would be awesome to see. On either of those teams, I would love to see D-Hop. Immediately makes your team so much better. Both
Yeah.
teams need a receiver like him. Diggs is great, but they need a big body, right?
Yeah.
Diggs is a great route
Agreed.
runner. He's great at the catch point. He's quick. But for Josh Allen, someone like D Hop would be fantastic. And for Patty
Yeah.
Mahomes, too, you're looking for an X receiver. Like Tony's not your X receiver, right? He's a great receiver, but Hop would make that team fantastic. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to see where he goes. He doesn't want a pay raise. He just wants to win, which I respect. The guy's been on some terrible teams, dealt with some awful quarterbacks, went to the Cardinals with some hope, didn't work out. I hope he gets his championship because he deserves it because he's an awesome player.
Yeah. I have a little different take on D Hop personally. I mean,
Yeah.
I think anybody would want to go to the Bills or the Chiefs, just cutting it straight. I think any receiver in the league would want to play with Josh Allen or Patrick
Mm-hmm.
Mahomes. So of course he was going to say yes to that. The Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers yet. That might not even happen because the Packers have a giant stick
No,
up their
it's gonna
butt.
happen. Don't worry, it's gonna happen.
Well, I'm just saying, if I knew Zach Wilson was going to be my quarterback, I don't want to go to New York. I'd rather stay with Kyler. Kyler's going to play 5 games, but I'm not going to New York. And the
Fair.
Patriots have all sorts of Mac Jones drama and Bill Belichick stuff going on right now too. And so it's a tire fire in New England. They don't know how to do offense at all. If you want to win, you don't go to the Patriots or the Jets. You go to the Bills or the Chiefs. And there's a bunch of other teams that I think you would work well on. And I want to address this quote. We are two guys, one mic, no clue. I don't think you have a clue. He's played with really good quarterbacks. Like, let's be really honest about this. Deshaun Watson and Kyler Murray are not bad quarterbacks. In their day, when they had D Hop, they're good quarterbacks. They're very good quarterbacks. Like when they're
That's
healthy
like
and
what,
they're not.
a year and a half worth of play that he had with them though, out of his 10 years that he's been in the NFL,
I,
and
yeah,
he was
I
great
mean,
with Deshaun Watson. That was a fun when Watson was a rookie when he came in. By the way, Adam in fantasy was great. He was fantastic. And then he tore his
yeah,
ACL, was sucked, and the whole masseuse thingy happened, and it all it all went down.
yeah.
But
I think it's worth. Yeah, I think it's worth noting that, like when they're both healthy, I think those are two really talented quarterbacks. When Kyler isn't playing Call
yeah,
of
yeah,
Duty and Deshaun Watson isn't like high
groping women,
off
yeah.
horniness, when he's not high off horniness and groping like 30 different masseuses, then I think that they're good quarterbacks. There's now we look at him differently, but in the moment, like you saw D Hop
Mhm.
to Arizona, and you're like, oh my goodness, Kyler and D Hop, they're gonna pop off, or oh my goodness, Deshaun Watson and D Hop, they're gonna be great. Um, it's just not a great fit in either situation. It just wasn't bound to stay that way. So we'll see where he goes. I know that Odell, or excuse me, there was a rumor I saw that Lamar wanted Odell and D Hop in Baltimore. Baltimore said that they can't get
Mhm.
both, but they can
No, we
get
don't.
one. So they got
Mhm.
Odell because they can't afford D Hop, I guess. But we'll see what that does to Lamar. We'll see what this does to the league. I think D Hop playing anywhere is better than Arizona because I think he's a fun player to watch.
Yeah,
That's my take.
absolutely. All right,
Yeah.
so now we're gonna move on to, I guess, our main part is I had this idea of talking to Gabe about what team is a draft away from being a competitor. I don't want to say Super Bowl bound, but a competitor.
Yeah.
So I was thinking of some teams. I don't know if you have
Uh-huh.
any off the top of your head. Do you?
I've got a couple
Did
off
you
the
come up
top.
with any
I
teams? Okay, let's hear them. Let's
Yeah.
hear them.
So I mean, off the top, my number one. This is you're probably gonna giggle. The New York Jets. I think that they are Aaron Rodgers and maybe a decent draft. Maybe if they'll lose some picks if they
Mm-hmm.
get Rodgers, but I think they're a decent quarterback. Period, away from immediate contention, for a playoff spot for an AFC title game, for an AFC divisional game. Because that roster is that good. Those young receivers are that good. That defense is humming with Robert Saleh. So I think the Jets are about a draft away. I guess we can alternate here. I want to hear who you have next.
I was gonna say the Jets. That was gonna be my
Okay.
first pick. I think they're easily 100% a quarterback, a tackle, a safety, and maybe another linebacker away from being really, really good, from having a
Yeah.
complete roster. Maybe another receiver would help, because I know but they'll make it work. But I'm really excited for
Yeah.
the Jets. Another team I would say is I really want to say the Chargers. Like as much
Okay.
as I wasn't high on Justin Herbert when he came out, but I love watching him play. I love his character. Great team
Yeah.
around him. It's just I don't believe in the coach. Um, he seems
Fair.
flashy, but he's not getting it done. You have too much talent. Eckler, Williams, Keenan Allen, Gerald Everett is great too,
Yeah.
and Justin Herbert itself should be enough to not lose to the Jags 27 points up. So
100%.
I really want to say the Chargers, but I can't say the Chargers. I think the Bengals. I think the
The
Bengals
Bills.
are
Oh, the Bengals. Okay.
no, the Bengals. The Bengals
Yeah.
are a good draft away. I would say they need a tackle. They need to draft tackle somehow. They need to figure that out. And they got to figure out their safeties because they lost Jesse Bates. But there aren't great safeties in the draft. So they got linebackers back there. I think they're a tackle and a corner away from being a serious competitor that will help them get back into the Super Bowl, beat the Chiefs again like they have been in the last couple of years, and actually win the Super Bowl this upcoming year with T. Higgins with one more year. So I think the
Yeah.
Bengals are a really good team if they can make really good and smart moves in the draft. They got to trade up in order for that to happen, but I think they're really close.
Yeah.
Being
I mean,
a Super
as
Bowl
we've seen with
contender.
them in recent years, I think that they're right on the doorstep. I mean, because they're right there with the Chiefs at the end. They beat them in the regular season. They, beat them to go to the Super
Mm-hmm.
Bowl 2 years ago, and so the Bengals are knocking on the door. I think that they are a couple key players away. Some good role players, some depth away from beating the Chiefs, just because of how good Mahomes and Andy Reid are. But I would agree with that. I think that the Chargers are an interesting take, because the Chargers are always going to Charger. Um, we want to
Mm-hmm.
get some friends of ours on the podcast post draft and talk about their teams and the season outlook, and get ready for the season now that OTAs have started and everything. But um, part of it is, there's a Chargers fan. His name's Dylan. Dylan, if you're listening, I love you. He's the most miserable human I've ever seen in my life when football is on TV. um, the most miserable. You cannot, when that Chargers and Jacksonville game was on TV. I remember I texted him afterwards because I watched it with you. I texted him afterwards and he just said he just has had no will to live. He just was it was over. Um, and so he's I love him to death. Chargers are always going to Charger because they just love putting their fans, for whatever reason, they're just cursed and put their fans through the most painful experiences any fan of any team can have.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see what happens. I think the Chargers are a good one. Bengals are a good one. I would also say Jacksonville is right on the door too.
Yeah,
Jacksonville's right
that's a
there.
good one.
The Jets are right there. Pittsburgh could be interesting. I'm not sure how Robinson and Pickett will work out. Pittsburgh's right there. And I would even say, now this is the bias in me sticking out a little bit. The New York Football Giants, maybe a draft or two away from Super Bowl contention. All right. All right. Now we don't have to get into this because we just recorded a Giants podcast that is yet to be released, so we can release that at some point. But I think don't say anything. You're probably gonna dispute me. We're moving on right past this. I own this show. We're done talking about it.
All right.
This is I'll remove you from the call. Giants are gonna be contenders. Yep, that's right. Don't say anything. Yep, that's right. Go ahead. Move right along. Nothing. I don't want to hear anything out of you, Kenji.
Another team. The Bengals and the Jets, honestly, were my two closest ones. If you look at the teams that made the playoffs last year, Vikings, no. Giants, to me, we won't talk about it. Sorry.
Thank you.
Eagles. We'll talk about that another time.
Just gave
stupid contract. Sorry.
Yeah,
we don't have time
just
to
gave
get
Hurts
into
his
it,
money.
But
yeah.
So they're done. But honestly, they could blow it out of the draft with 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
I don't really have another team that I really think could be a competitor with a really good draft. If you look at the top 10 teams, I think Seattle potentially, but I don't believe Geno really can take you to the promised land. I think he's a great bridge quarterback. I really hope they go after a quarterback this year. I don't think they will.
Anthony Richardson.
It's not Seattle, so it'd be so fun. It'd be so fun to see him there. But again, we're not going to get too heavy into the draft stuff because we're not a big podcast today. Draft stuff's next week. Got a lot to talk about next week.
Yes, so we do.
I don't
Mock
have
drafts coming next week. Yeah. So okay.
I'm good.
Okay. All right, man. Hey, I think those are both really solid takes. I'm excited to see what the draft looks like. There's all sorts of speculation going around. I mean, we have a few extra minutes, so we can cover that if we want. I mean, Bryce Young effectively saying that the number 1 pick is wrapped up. Did you hear that? Did you hear about him canceling?
Which it is. It 100% is, yeah.
He canceled his meetings with the dropping. Why is Stroud dropping? Now, see, enlighten me on this. Why is Stroud falling off the draft boards? What?
Because everyone's finally realizing that there isn't enough in him to take you to a Super Bowl or enough to prove to you that he's the guy, right? Bryce Young has everything but the size. CJ Stroud still has a ton of stuff that you're not sure about, except for the Georgia
That's what my girlfriend tells me. But anyway, sorry, moving right along. I have everything but the
I'm
size.
excited for the mock drafts next week. With the recent news, everything that's happening, it's going to be very different how it turns out. I'm excited to see how Gabe's bum does draft because I guarantee you half the players are going to be like a bunch of nincompoops that he found on Mel Kiper's draft board.
All right. Hey, wow. We just taking shots today, huh? You know, I could have made that last joke about you, but I made it about me. And now instead you're harassing my take. This is uncalled for. I'll tell you that right now. You want to play this game? We'll play this game. I'll come at your head next week with this mock draft.
Yeah, come at me next week.
Okay. All right. Is that all we have? I mean, it's a pretty short episode. Do we have more to cover? I mean, you want to tell us how you're doing?
No, this is really it. Yeah. Well, I gotta go babysit.
Oh, that's right. You got to be a good person.
That's why I'm trying to keep brief. Yeah, I have to be a good person to my sister. Yeah.
You're usually not. So that's a good thing. Good for your family for getting you off.
Person. I would be going to hell if it wasn't for this deed.
Yeah, good thing your family got you off your butt because you need to go be a good human. You need to get in the good graces of your fellow man. I just go be a good human. Simply. I'm glad you said it, not me. I'm glad you said it because we're all thinking it over here. No, we love you, Kenji. Everybody, I kid. He is a pain in my ass, but he's a good dude. We will. We got a lot of draft stuff coming at you next week. We're trying to keep these episodes short and succinct. We're going to try and get these videos out too. So if you're seeing this on anywhere you get your normal podcasts, on Apple or Spotify, there's a high likelihood that it's available on YouTube, and we'll link the YouTube channel with that as well. But and hopefully we can pick up a little bit of steam here with this draft coming up. We're gonna come at you with at least one mock draft next week. I'd like to do a little snake draft, like we each take player one by one and kind of work our way through the first round. I think that'd be interesting. But we also can go with each of our own top tens or however we want to do it. But I think the snake draft makes it a little bit more interactive. But I think that's all we have. Kenji, go be a good person. Tell your sister I said hello. I'm just kidding. We're getting out of control here.
I will hurt you.
I know, and you can't say the same thing about me, or about my family. So yeah, that's right. No, holler at us on social media if you have anything you guys want to say. If you guys want to get on the podcast, let us know. And I think that's all we have. Go watch some fun baseball. Go O's, and Kenji's actually not being horrible at fantasy baseball himself. So, but Kenji, anything you want to add before we take off?
Country music is the best type of music. That's all I'm going to say. Goodbye, everyone.
Okay, we're going to bleep him out for that. Thanks for listening, everybody. We'll catch you guys at the next episode. And we'll see you guys then. Take care.